A lot of people have knowledge, but they are not able to edit the book.
AI can do a very good job in processing that data, finding out the anomalies.
Predictive analytics will very likely be based on data,
wherein I can just give a screenshot of my paper invoice. It automatically analyzes the invoice. All right. Happy Independence Day, guys.
Happy Independence Day, everybody.
Independence Day.
Great. So Himanshu and Parth, so what is your Independence Day resolution?
We don't take resolutions on Independence Day, do we now?
We should, right?
When I've
Independence. I think Parth would be having a resolution on financial independence, I suppose. Yeah, Parth?
I actually have one, but it's more career oriented than something which is personal to me. But yeah, so I believe that I plan to talk to and help at least 77 people towards the journey of financial independence in the next 77 days, which is before 30th of October.
So why 77 number? I mean, I understand the 77 reference, but why number related to your goal?
Sorry, why number? So it's just that it's the 77th Independence Day, so I just wanted to do something with that theme.
Achha. So it's a theme number.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And what about you, Himanshu?
I don't have any resolutions per se, because I thought we only take resolutions when it's New Year's to break in the next 10 days. But I'm glad to be celebrating Independence Day after 5 years here in India. So that's a good thing for me.
Himanshu, give me a bit of insight about how was it when you were in New Zealand and there was a Indian 15th August Independence Day was getting celebrated, and what you used to do that day, because we do get up in the morning, there is a flag hoisting and all that. So what used to happen there?
So there were flag hostings and small celebrations over there as well, because obviously there's a huge Indian community there in New Zealand. So not just actually Independence Day, every festival is celebrated, or every occasion is celebrated quite nicely over there. Let it be Diwali or Holi or Ganpati, Navratri, similarly Independence Day. So there was this place, a community center for Indians, and then there would be flag hosting like we do over here every morning, some food, some dancing and stuff. So it was celebrated, not as grandly as we do here, obviously, but still there was a celebration. So it was good. But a nice fact is that the Diwali celebration in Auckland especially is massive. So they block out their main Queen Street, the whole street, and there's like food stalls and dancing performances and everything going on. So because again, as I said, there's a huge Indian community. So Diwali celebration is massive over there.
Got it. What about you, Parth? How is it going at Phoenix? Do you have holidays or like how is it?
Yeah, we do have a holiday. So I think everyone is...
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying that everyone is celebrating Independence Day with their family. So, yeah.
So generally, like long back, we used to have office on Independence Day as well as Republic Day, wherein people used to come, all the employees used to come to office. They used to decorate the office with all the flags and balloons and all that. And then, there used to be a small little celebration. It used to be half day, but people used to come to office and we used to do. Once it started off, after the COVID, then all these celebrations suddenly stopped. Now Independence Day is just a holiday for us.
Okay.
Yeah. So guys, the people who are participants, I want you guys to comment on how do you think we should celebrate Independence Day in a company? Should we have a holiday? Should we go to the office and do the celebration, then come back, or any other way of celebrating Independence Day? I would want all of you to participate in this, including Shubham, Itika, Priyanka, Prateek, Subhrajit, Suraj, Kajal, everyone. I go with the option 2 is Shubham Kumar. No wonder. How about others? We have BK. So what I feel is uh it Independence Day itself is, I mean, every festival in general in India is a great excuse to go out and bond between your peers. Again, Itika has option 2. Celebration with half day is saying Suraj Gupta. Yeah, that was expected from Suraj. Suraj is a very partially social guy. But I really believe that there are a lot of bonding that happens in these celebrations. The reason being, in our regular working days, you don't get to bond, right? You always have deadlines. You always have tasks associated that you need to complete. You always have things to do, and mostly people do catch up on what is in the breaks, or maybe they might be having some sutta break or something like that. Other than that they don't as such catch up. But these are the days in India specifically, I feel that uh, people should duly participate and celebrate. Pratik Agarwal says we can ask staff to come up with ideas on how they want to celebrate it. Oh, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Hmm. So Pratik, what kind of ideas would you give to celebrate the Independence Day? And I would want others also to answer and add to the conversation that Pratik has started, because it's a very important point, I feel. Very interesting. And also, I want to understand Himanshu as well as Parth. What all are things that you guys feel India needs change of in terms of tech? I mean, India is great as of now in terms of the progression that it has achieved in tech. But what else do you guys think needs changed in India?
That's a question that you need to give a proper thought to. My feeling is that, I mean, definitely India is growing at a very fast pace when it comes to technology, and all sorts of different things that are out there are available in India as well. One thing I do miss, because I've used it and I don't get to use it in India, which is Apple Pay. And reason being, Indian RBI guidelines are such that it's not allowing Apple Pay to operate over here. Well, it's a great convenient option for all the fellow Apple users, and I've used it for good 5 years. So I do think that should come to India. But apart from that, I feel technologically we are growing at a really good pace, and everything that's out there in the world is available here as well. Might be a little expensive, but it's available.
Interesting. What about you, Parth?
So I think Himanshu gave a very nice answer using his personal experience. I think it's actually a very tricky question to answer, at least impromptu. My domain is finance, and I think I can share something on that in that perspective. I believe that the tech and finance is also improving a lot. Like a lot of fintech companies are coming up, but I still believe that the tech needs to be adopted, especially in finance, in such a way that people are more responsible to use it. Now, I'm not sure how tech and in what way can we bring in the improvements, but I think the transition has to be smoother.
So when you say the transaction or transition has to be smoother, do you mean the companies need to adapt more technologies, or the existing technologies needs to improve?
Um, See, I believe that the technologies have already, gone far ahead. I believe that people are not in a position that they are mature enough to use the kind of technologies which are out there to their advantage. Maybe there needs to be some sort of a way in which people are being made understood that these are the technologies which are available to you and this is how to use it.
Okay, I would want all of us who are in the participants, I would want you guys to just write H Happy Independence Day, which is HID, in the chat box, so as to wish each other of, that there have been so many years that we are independent of, we have, it's not like independence. I feel still we are like kind of bound in a lot of things, but still it is fairly independent nation that we live in. We have choice of freedom of speech that they say, and we also have a freedom of going anywhere, exploring things, doing business, etc. um I want Parth to talk on a slight bit on how much, how many people have you met till now who are doing great in tech? I mean, people own in tech companies, and who are doing quite well in terms of problem solving. The reason I'm asking this question is India needs a lot of people to come ahead and solve a lot of problems that we already are facing, which are not only metro centric, more massy.
That's true. That's true. Before I come to that, I'd also like to share an observation. So you mentioned everyone to comment HID, Happy Independence Day, to each other on the comment box. And I believe it's actually HIDE, Happy Independence Day, to each other, because everyone is hidden. So rather than just commenting HID, I would request everyone to switch on the videos so that we can actually wish each other.
I doubt that's going to happen, because people might be on their beds, like with their phones like this, and seeing the Zoom calls and all. It's just the three of us, and probably Pradyuman will join in soon, who have got properly ready. So I doubt, and it's a holiday. So Pradyuman is here, by the way, and quite early he's here, so that's quite surprising.
I see. No, it's 5:14, so I don't think so. He's early. he told that he'll not join before 5:15. So yeah, he's bang on time.
All right, we have Pradyuman here. Hi, Pradyum.
Hello, Ritesh. I'm really sorry for not having the background as you wanted it to be. But you know the chaos that I am facing, and this is precisely what I'll be talking about today.
So guys, let me introduce Pradyum. Pradyum, can I just give a formal introduction, or you want me to just
yes,
do a
please
soft?
take your own time. I'll also take my own time, sweet little time, and also observe how you introduce me.
Okay, so I'm not that great at introducing people, by the way, and I'll be introducing Pradyuman and each of our guests, of course, softly. But I know Pradyuman, we met at a networking come hangout initiative, and we hit it very nicely. He was my roommate, and when I started understanding him, I think he is a great guy, amazing guy. He is a life coach, and the people that he is coaching are enormous. I didn't know that life coaches earn that well, but that is what Pradyuman is earning right now as well. As well as the fan following that he has is also great. I mean, he has put in like very tiny efforts in in his fan following. In We have Samsung Galaxy S8 also. Guys, if you can rename your names properly in the Zoom, I will be able to identify you better. Again, coming back to Pradyum. So this guy is a genuine guy, very, very genuine guy. And he has a great fan following between explicitly males, if correct me if I'm wrong, Pradyum. Yeah. And a lot of men do come to him to ask for a lot of life guidance. And even I have got benefited a lot out of his guidance. And I feel this guy has good plans, good vision, and he is already on it. So that is what, in short, about Pradyum, and he being the first speaker that we have. Pradyum, do you have all set up, all your laptop as well as screen sharing on? Great. I would request my team to give Pradyum, Dr. Pradyum. So I'm just calling you Pradyum because I feel that you're a friend. So in case if I miss out on the doctor part, kindly, Okay. So guys, team, please give Pradyum sir the screen sharing
I
permissions.
don't need a screen sharing because I thought today is Independence Day, guys. So first of all, happy 77th Independence Day to all of you. And for a change, I decided not to be the typical professional like speaker that I am, and also give myself that independence to speak heart to heart. Dil se dil ki baat hum karenge. That is what I have planned. I'm sure Ritesh will allow me do that.
Yeah.
And
So before that, let me introduce Pradyum in the most formal manner that I can. Okay, so guys, it's an honor of mine to introduce our first speaker, which is Dr. Pradyum Singh. It is Pradyum, not Pradyuman, is what I also realized. He is a medical doctor with an MBBS and MD degree. Dr. Singh has further expanded his expertise with a master's in psychology, and he is not only just a medical professional practitioner, but he is also a life and mindset transformation coach. So guys, life and mindset transformation coach is what Pradyum is. He has authored 3 books, by the way. So 3 books bande ne likhi hai, out of which one book, which is neat, which is the success blueprint, is a national I think, what is that, national bestseller, right? So it's a national bestseller with I think sold over more than 5,000 copies. And there are other 2 books that one of the name of the book is The School of Life, and another is A Life of Coach's Book of Question. So basically, the book that I have is the 3rd one, which has a lot of questions, a very deep thoughts that he has put into the book. And these are all a lot of questions that then allows you to think deep about yourself. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Pradyum Singh, as he will walk us through his wisdom that we are all waiting to, explore on. I would want everyone to just write clap in the chat box so as to welcome Dr. Pradyum Singh. Sir, stage is all yours.
thank you so much, Ritesh. And I think you can take that liberty of calling me Pradyumna or Pradi, whatever you're comfortable with. I think friends first. And as I said, today is Independence Day, guys. So let's be informal. Let's be a little chatty. And I'd love to know from you all as to what your expectations from this talk is. Precisely because, जैसा मैंने कहा ना, I'll be talking दिल से दिल की बात करेंगे. I have not prepared a thing, and that's the truth of the day. And I want it to be curated as per what your expectations are, because you see, this theme in itself is like a whole spectrum. At the most, what we can be doing is by doing justice to one bit of it, one part of it. We cannot definitely be talking about the entire spectrum, and I am not the best of the guys to be talking about the entire spectrum. So I'd love to know from you all in the chat box as to what your expectations are. The great and wonderful introduction that Ritesh has given for me, I am really humbled and not really sure as to why and how I fit into such great, enormous words. But yeah, that's it. So I'd love to know from you guys in the chat box. And in the meanwhile, someone from the team, if they can just read out one by one, because sometimes the chat moves very fast. So one by one, Ritesh, if you can read it out for me, all the chats.
Definitely. The first chat is mine, which is the stress in today's world and how can we use technology to guide us through this?
Okay, just let me grab a pen and write down stress. Next point.
Yeah. So there is no next point. I think people are still thinking about it and talking out, typing out. So you can maybe start off with my point.
Okay, stress in today's world. Fine. So guys, as you all might be aware, हमारे बड़े बूढ़े समझदार ज्ञानी लोग, ancient sages as well as the contemporary mystics have all stressed upon one fact, that ati sarvatra varjayet. That means, to spell it out simply in Hindi, ati bigade mati. Anything that you do in excess beyond a certain limit is something that is distressful, something that is harmful, something that can be depressing, something that is having a negative connotation attached to it. Right? Write down in the chat box, agree if you agree with this ancient age-old wisdom that has been passed on for ages, for generations, and it has still held true for most parts, right? Himanshu says agree. Thank you, Himanshu. Agree says Priyanka. Okay, Itika says agree. That's wonderful. So you see, this is precisely the point that I'll be talking about. Whether you talk of stress, whether you talk of anxiety, whether you talk of depression, there are a plethora of so-called diagnosable clinical mental illnesses, if I were to say so. And because I come from a medical background, there are more than 50 diagnosable mental illnesses which are by and large prevalent across the spectra of society, regardless of socio-cultural, economic, caste based, ethnicity based, or any kind of divisions that we have created as a humanity, as a race. So when we have so many mental illnesses, and I'm talking on something, as a medical practitioner, I'm not doing justice, and that is why I'm giving this disclaimer. For the sake of simplicity, for the sake of understanding, I'll be talking about mental illnesses, predominantly anxiety, stress, and depression, right? There are a lot of things, and I'm sure not many people might even be aware of beyond maybe 10, 12 diseases, but because I come from that background, this disclaimer becomes very important for me to be given on my part for you all. So you talked of stress. Now, this AI, in my perspective, as a life coach, as a psychotherapist, as a counselor, as a medical practitioner, is like a double-edged sword. And this is why I started off my talk with that quote, Ati Sarvatra Varjye. If you go beyond the point, it will be diminishing, it will be distressing, it will be having some sort of negative impact upon you, no matter what, no matter who you are. That is one thing. Secondly, even if you don't use it, then also AI being what it is going to be putting you behind a lot of your peers, putting you behind in the competitions. Why I am saying this is because of personal experience. I could help two of my clients who were taking life coaching sessions from me write a book. And how and why they were able to write that book is because of AI. A lot of people have knowledge, but they are not able to edit the book. A lot of people have ideas, but not able to put words to it. So this is just an example to impress upon you the simple fact that AI is also helpful. Now, this being called a double-edged sword is simply because of simple reason. If you just neglect it altogether, it is going to put you behind in the race. And let's accept it. I think there are all techies in this room. So we are all running a rat trap. We are all in a rat trap, and we are all running a rat race. Let's be frank about it, right? No matter how brutal or arrogant I may sound, with all humble and due respect to all of you, this is the reality of the modern world, and there's nothing wrong. The only thing is, if you are running a rat race, at least there run to your best capability. Now, your best may not be actually the best, but that gap needs to be bridged. What your potential is versus where you are performing. And in today's modern era, this AI, artificial intelligence, is giving us that edge. No doubt about it. However, if you overdo it, let's say a social media influencer is creating all his content through AI, there will be no personal touch. There will be no human connection. His own insights will not go into the content that he's creating. So we may slowly start to develop some sort of distance. No matter how well he was creating the content initially, we will start developing that distance or dislike for him or her. These two examples, I think the one of book being written by my clients just with the simple tool of chat gpt, and this one of, in fact, this is one of my friend who used to be a social media influencer, has seen a significant decline in his following. And the simple reason is the correct use of, amicable use of AI, and the misuse or overuse of AI. And it is precisely for this reason that I told you it is like a double-edged sword. Now let's talk about stress. And before I talk about stress, okay, I've I've written a point just extemporaneously. I thought, don't you think this AI is having a positive impact on mental health? Why I'm saying this is because being a counselor, being a psychotherapist, a lot of people come to me for help, particularly the depression patient. The number of counseling sessions are too many because there needs to be some sort of emotional catharsis. That means there should be an outlet, a vent to your emotions, firstly, to go to the root cause and then being able to resolve it. Now, why I call this AI as a boon to mental health is because a person need not necessarily come to a psychotherapist or a mental health counselor for small issues. You have chat gpt. I'm just taking that example, by the way. No offenses to other AI tools, I'm not even aware of them. This chat gpt, a simple tool, you can use it for free, converse, and a lot of your tensions, a lot of your emotional catharsis will already be resolved there. You are going through a cathartic process there itself. That's all for free, and that is also reducing the financial burden on the clients or patients part, and also reducing the overall load on the mental health care system of the country. Because India being what it is, the ratio is highly disturbed. We have a significant shortage of mental health experts. So it helps me because a person who's mildly depressive might be well resolved over AI, and my burden is lowered, his or her financial burden is lowered. Make sense? Write down in the chat box MS. Makes sense. If this point is something that you think, yeah, सही बात तो बोल रहा है, आगे सुनते हैं डॉक्टर को. And write down in the chat box, please go PG. If you think ये क्या बकवास कर रहा है यार, इसको क्यों बुलाया है AI और टेक वाली समिट में. रितेश भाई मेरे को कमेंट्स भी पढ़ देना एक बार. जस्ट रीड आउट people who have written other than stress, other than your point. I think your point was answered here itself. You talked about stress in today's world, and this is how I look at it from a mental health expert's side, from my perspective, that it can aid the mental health experts as well, also help the people who are facing some sort of stress related issues, anxiety related issues, or simply a mild depressive episode. Now, that might not be clinically diagnosable mental health illness, but it could be a simple depressive episodes. Predominantly, now that I handle youth, I am teaching in a medical college. So the most burning issue is breakup ho gaya. For issues like this, I think people should rather spend their time with chat gpt than me, because no matter how many times you tell them the same thing, it keeps on repeating. It's like a loop. जैसे गाना लूप पे चलता है वैसे ही. पर वो अच्छी तो बहुत थी, मेरे दिल में तो वही बस गई है. मैं क्या करूं, मेरे से नहीं छोड़ा जाता. आई जस्ट कांट गेट ओवर इट. ये ऐसे इश्यूज बहुत सारे हैं, मतलब ऑलमोस्ट हर दूसरा दिल. और इंडिया में तो ऑलमोस्ट हर गली में टूटे दिल वाले आशिक रहते ही हैं. तो दिस इज ऑफ कोर्स अ बिग psychological boon to the society. Ritesh, if you can go on to the next points, I'll just curate it accordingly.
Yes. So there is a follow-up on the same topic. The follow-up is that makes sense. However, the patient may not experience the human touch that the counselor may give, which I feel is exactly the filtration or pipelining mechanism that Pradyuman sir is talking about, which is the initial small issues can be filtered out. Later on, any severity can come through him. So let me take up any some other question. The second question was, how can we change our mindset specifically when there is a feeling of setback starts to get better of you? How technology can be helpful to change such mindset?
Okay, let's look at it from a different perspective. Like, I'm answering this question in a roundabout way, and I'm really sorry for that if it doesn't answer you directly. But I'll use the path of tangentiality. The thing is, let's talk about social anxiety. A lot of us have social anxiety, right? A lot of people are not familiar with people or not familiar with conversing to people. And if I'm just assuming, if you, let's say, start using chat gpt and start conversing with it in a way that you will converse with the human beings, a lot of your technicality, the hard skills might be taken care of in terms of what you need to speak, how you need to speak, what you need to put in as a prompt on ChatGPT to get the answer that you want. So this is like also like a training ground, a playground, and this can help you in the long run, that slowly, steadily, when you go to the actuality, when you go on ground and talk with people, it can be very easy for you to speak the right things. Yes, I'm not saying the social anxiety will be taken care of in its entirety, but the root cause can primarily be answered. Why I'm saying the root cause? Because if you look at it from a third person's view, let's say I am playing on this plane, my palm. If I'm playing on this plane and suddenly I get this view, this bird's eye view or third person view, my understanding of things will change. And if you look at from this third eye view, I'm telling you, any and every problem that we have related to mind is somewhere down the line due to fear. Fear. Write down in the chat box fear, fear. If you agree, just think about it once, close your eyes, take a deep breath, think about it. यार, डर की वजह से मैं सोशल एंजाइटी फील कर रहा हूँ. हाँ, सही बात है. डर की वजह से मैं पैसा नहीं कमा पा रहा. सही बात है. जस्ट सोच के देखो. The root cause of every human problem on an individual level is fear. वो ब्रेकअप क्या है? वो ब्रेकअप है fear of being alone, left alone, or fear of rejection, or fear of finding yourself incompetent. This fear is the root cause of all individual human problems. Now, what you're doing through AI, now that we are centered around AI, what you're doing through AI is that you are trying to upskill yourself on the टेक्निकल एस्पेक्ट्स. टेक्निकल एस्पेक्ट्स मीनिंग किसी से बात क्या करनी है. बात तो तब करेंगे ना जब ये पता होगा कि बात क्या करनी है. सो इट इज लाइक अ ट्रेनिंग ग्राउंड, अ प्लेग्राउंड सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग. दिस is how I look at it, and this is going to be the future for sure, is what I believe. Secondly, now that you talked of someone who was writing the follow-up question, I think was bang on when I said it is like also like a filtration process. छोटी छोटी issues chat gpt help कर सकता है, answer कर सकता है, but for human touch, for clinical illnesses, you have to go to a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist or a clinical psychologist, whatever the mental health expert that you want to go. So that was bang on point. I'd say kudos to the person who wrote it. And I think in a roundabout way, I tried to give the answer because so that it becomes a little more relevant to all the other people.
Yeah. So I think you contextualize it. Let's take up another question. It's by Parth. So this question is quite relevant, I feel. The question is how to stay in touch with friends online, but not lose touch with family in-house. So very interesting question.
I am amazed such questions are coming to me in an AI summit. I was just, and by the way, guys, I was fearful कि मैं AI summit में बोलूंगा क्या, and I didn't prepare for the simple reason कि ठीक है अब जो होगा देखा जाएगा. And I am glad that people are answering, like asking this question. I think Parth is saying no audio. Is my audio clear?
Yeah, your audio is audible to me at least. Can other people confirm it? Yeah, okay, great. So I think Parth might have some audio issues. Either ways, we can take up the question.
Okay, so matlab, I would love to listen to this question again just to know the nitty gritties. I want to hear it slowly so that I get the language also right.
Okay, so he's asking how to stay in touch with friends online, but not lose touch with family in house. So for example, I'm sitting in front of my family on a dinner and chit chatting with being with friends online. And although my family is yelling at me, keep the phone aside, keep the phone aside. So probably he might be in that dilemma, I suppose.
Nice.
Correct
I
me if
got
I'm
the
wrong,
question.
Parth.
I got the question. I just wanted to listen to his language, his uses of words, which was phenomenal to say the least. You put it in the exact words, and I guess write down in the chat box how many of us feel the same problem. कितने लोगों की ये same problem बनी हुई है? मतलब ये problem होती है. I am the first one to raise my hand, right? Ritesh says me. Okay. केवल रितेश की प्रॉब्लम, हिमांशु ऑल्सो सेज मी, ह्यूमन एआई पॉडकास्ट वाले बोल रहे हैं मी, ओके, इतिका ऑल्सो सेज मी, प्रतीक ऑल्सो सेज मी। तो ये प्रॉब्लम देखो सबकी है, एंड दिस इज प्रिसाइसली बिकॉज आर्स इज अ जनरेशन दैट इज सीइंग अ लॉट ऑफ चेंजेस टेक्नोलॉजिकली। जितने एडवांसमेंट हमने देखे हैं उतने नो जनरेशन ऑफ एनी स्पीशीज एवर ऑन दिस planet has seen. I'm not just talking about human beings, I'm talking about no species ever on the planet has seen so many technological advancements or technological shifts and changes as much as has been seen by our generation. So the reason to tackle is just being aware of your own self. There are two aspects to it. One is self awareness and another is self discipline. तो देखो इसका कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं है कि आप ऐसा 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 करो और सब सही हो जाएगा, और मैं कोई बाबा भी नहीं हूं कि हाथ दे के बता दूंगा कि बस कृपा वहां अटकी हुई है, 2 साल बाद मिल जाएगी, ऐसा 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 करो। द थिंग इज you just take care of these two aspects. Self awareness, what do I mean by that? Self awareness means कि आप अपने टाइम पैटर्न्स को ऑब्जर्व करो, किस समय आप अपने टाइम को सबसे ज्यादा उस चीज में लगा रहे हो, उस गैजेट में लगा रहे हो, ठीक है, और उसको अकॉर्डिंगली ट्वीक करो उस टाइम से जो कि आपकी फैमिली के साथ आप स्पेंड कर रहे हो। तो लेट्स से मेरा मैक्सिमम मोबाइल यूजेस ऑफिस आवर्स के बाद रहता है 7 to 9। अब 7 to 9 में से अज्यूमिंग कि 7 to 8 इज स्पेंट इन ट्रैवलिंग, after that 8 to 9 is my family time. So can we just tweak that time, maybe just let that 7 to 8 time be there, but jo extra 1 hour hai, that extra 1 hour could be shifted either in the morning or afternoon, or could be split into parts. 15 minutes right before going to bed, 15 minutes right before coming out of bed in the morning, 15 minutes in my lunch break at the office, and 15 minutes casually. Can we do that? If the answer is yes, the first and the foundational thing to that is you need to have self awareness, right? So that is the first aspect, and I'm going very briefly about these aspects. Of course there can be a lot of tricks and hacks involved in it. The second thing is self discipline. Now once you are aware, once you measure your time, improvement happens where there is some sort of measurement, where some sort of quantification is there. So once you are aware of where I'm spending my time and how I'm spending my time, you can tweak it. Once you tweak it, the only thing is self discipline. कि no matter कितना भी important email आ जाए, I will not do it from 8 to 9 time. The flip side to this is, so this was one part. One way of doing it is self awareness plus self discipline. The second way of doing it is you simply improve the quality of time spent rather than the quantity of time spent. So what do I mean by quality of time spent? Let's say you are living in a nuclear family with just a spouse. This is just for the ease of giving examples, right? So you and your wife are there, or you and your husband are there. To spend quality time means, let's say weekly we can go once for a movie date. And I know one of my professors, he was the head of department of psychiatry, a well-known psychiatrist over here, and he and madam have been going on a movie date for the last almost 30 years without a stop, because they are both busy in their own worlds. Sir is a well-known psychiatrist, madam is a well-known gynecologist. There are professional requirements, there are professional obligations, no doubt about it. But their way of staying committed to the process and staying committed to their relationships and ensuring they have a quality time is movie dates. Can you think of something like this similarly? In your own life, depending on your life situations, what is it that you can do to improve the quality of time spent, and maybe not worrying at all about the quantity of time spent? Let's say you are living in a family with your mother. Just buying her some simple groceries can make her entire day great. Just going to the kitchen once and helping her wash the dishes can make her day great. Just asking her, how are you feeling today, do you need any help, can make her day great. These simple hacks, no matter how simple they sound, have the power to transform your entire life. And this is again one of the ways that I think, and this is precisely what I have been following. So I use social media and WhatsApp. In fact, I always say half my brain is on WhatsApp, but I ensure that whenever that time's right, there's a quality spending of time, and this is what is precisely needed. Quality over quantity. Over to you, Ritesh. These are the two
Very interesting.
sides of
I have made a lot of notes, and definitely this is going to help. So, Pradyumnji, how can people reach out to you?
You can connect with me over LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp. WhatsApp's my favorite. Emails maybe, or you can download my app, the Fly High app. It's live on Play Store. Not really sure. I'll have to check with my team on about Apple Store, but it's definitely live on Play Store. You can reach out to me there. You can read my books. Especially the second one is something that I wrote for techies like you and corporate guys, the School of Life. The short, crisp summary, I think will be much useful for you, and you can open it any time of the day, no matter how you're feeling. It will just make your day a little more bright, a little more vibrant.
Great. I think this has been, there are a lot of couple of more questions, but due to the time constraint, we'll have to take these questions later, maybe in a separate session. But I think the insights, the little insights that Doctor gave us might have helped us quite a lot. And this is, I feel, with the conversation that I had with him, I think a month back or so, this is just probably 0.1% of what it is already existing in his brain. So that being said, thank you so much, Dr. Pradyum, for being here and talking on, taking on this techies perspective of life, as well as how to deal with their day-to-day stress, as well as other questions that you helped us ponder. Thank you so much, Pradyum.
Thank you so much, Ritesh and entire team, for having me. Kudos to you. Also, Himanshu, I've been seeing you on Human AI podcast with him. Congratulations to both of you for what you're doing. And thank you so much, guys. For any problem related to any socio-cultural or any sort of mental or emotional issue that you've been facing, just reach out to me. Predominantly on Instagram, LinkedIn, and WhatsApp is where I'm active on. And you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Some simple life hack being shared there. Thank you so much, Ritesh and team, for having me. Hope you enjoy this 15th August, which you are already by trying to upskill yourself a little bit. Kudos to the entire team and congratulations for this successful organization.
Okay, so let me take this immense gratitude as well as pleasure to introduce our next speaker, which is Parth Thakkar. Parth is a financial planner, certified financial planner, and he lives as well as advises his clients, I being one of them, by one single motto, which is invest to create wealth, not to make money. So that is an interesting motto. There is another motto I think Parth recently gave. I heard this motto, which was, what was the motto, Parth? There's one more motto you have shared.
I tend to give a lot of mottos. Which inspired you the most? You tell me.
I think the second motto was more or less invest to create. People don't fall in life. People don't fail in life. They fail to play.
Yes. So the second one was that people don't fail to. People don't plan to fail in life. No one plans to fail, right? Who would do that?
Yeah.
But people simply fail to plan. They don't have a plan in place.
Yeah. I think Himanshu might relate to this a lot more than me, because Himanshu is the man with the plan. But either ways, he's a certified planner, which is Parth, and a QPFP, which is what?
Qualified personal finance professional.
Okay. And he has built his reputation, and in his list of clientele, he's part of his company, which is Phoenix Insurance. And Phoenix Insurance, I have been also part of. He heads at Phoenix Insurance and Financial Services. He leads a team that manages the portfolio of, I think, more than 1,200 clients. And this company is 20 years old. And I think this company has all the clients pan India, and they provide excellent services, I feel. It has been seamlessly integrating various financial principles, financial planning principles to meet to Indian context. So guys, whenever you go online, you see people who are giving you finances advice, etc. These are more centric to globally making sense, but Parth has a more perspective towards Indian way of financial planning. Then that is about Parth. So let's welcome Mr. Parth as he explores us in this in our technological age, as well as how can we manage our financial financial side of things. So stage is all yours, Parth. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, first of all, for giving me this opportunity. Before I begin, I would like to thank Dr. Pradyumna for explaining so well. Even I've taken so many notes. And I think when we started the meeting, Ritesh asked a question that what was your resolution on this Independence Day? I think after listening to Dr. Pradyumna, I've made at least 2 resolutions. One is to make sure that I give a specific slot to when I'm using the social media. And second is that to take my girlfriend on a monthly movie date. All right. So, Ritesh, can you just give me a check if it's visible properly? Can you see it properly?
Yes, we can see artificial intelligence and behavioral science, finance.
All right. So, the topic probably has 2 terms: artificial intelligence and behavioral finance. And I believe both of these terms are largely misunderstood. So, let me first try to deconstruct these 2 terms. So, a lot of people tend to say that you must have seen a lot of ads on social media or on television saying that they claim to use AI in this, we are using AI tech in this. So a lot of times what I've seen is that people are using algorithms. They are not using AI, but they tend to mix up both these things. And let me try to tell you that what is the difference between using algorithms and using AI as in tech in your product. See, algorithm is something which is very rigid. It is just a set of instructions, a pre-coded recipe that gets executed when it encounters a trigger. AI, on the other case, is something beyond just an algorithm. AI will take in data, AI will analyze that data, and if required, AI will also modify the algorithms in response to the data and try to upgrade itself, process that information, and then give an output or a result. So a lot of times people use this catchphrase that they are using AI, but they are actually using algorithms. AI and behavioral finance. Now, when it comes to finance, or let me say behavioral finance, a lot of people, when they talk about behavioral finance, they try to say that behavioral finance is something which is only about handling the emotions or managing the emotions of the client. I believe it goes beyond that, and I'll come to that in a moment. But I think this particular slide would explain behavioral finance in a better way. Unpleasant truths versus comforting lies. In finance, it's easy to see the data, see the historical data, and see where people have made mistakes in the past. You can also analyze the data of the stock market and actually see people making behavioral mistakes. For example, if there is a market crash, people tend to sell the shares at a lesser price, right? Now, this is, I believe, this is not something which is very wise thing to do. This is not something which is very intelligent thing to do. But people tend to do it. Now, why do they tend to do it? And this is one of the examples which is the most used. But later on in these slides, I'll also tell you what are sort of the other examples when it comes to behavioral finance. At this point, I would like to tell you that if you have made such mistakes in the past, can you just reply sold, SOLD, sold. If you have sold when the market crashed, be it the COVID crash or maybe 2008 crash or 2013, can you just reply on the chat box sold so that I get to know? And I think I'll be one of the people who also gets to write that. In the past, I've also made some such mistakes, so it's not uncommon. There is a very famous book for all the traders out there. If you are into trading, I believe there is one book which you should read, which is Trading in the Zone. Now, this book will, apart from all the technicalities in the trading, this book will also focus on the mindset, which Dr. Pradyumna covered in the topic before mine. Mindset is very important while trading. Your behavior is very important while you are trading in the zone. This particular screenshot is from SEBI's report, which mentioned that almost 90% of traders are losing their money in the stock market. Ritesh asked me a question sometime back that, what kind of changes or what kind of improvements do you feel the tech in the tech industry in India should happen? Now, I believe that there is lots of technological advancement which has already been done. People are not making losses because there is some sort of a loophole in the technology. It's not that you're placing an order and it's not getting executed on time and you're making losses. No, the tech is fine. It's get executed in real time. It's also not the case that the information is not readily available. Tech has done a wonderful job. I think it has democratized the information. You get lots of charts, analysis, regular updates on news, push notifications on your mobile phone. So it's not that there is an information parity, that you're not able to take the right decision because there was lack of information and that's why you're making losses. No, the tech has done its role. It has given you information. It has given you access to software. You can do the transactions in real time. But even then, people are making losses, right? So who is to blame? What is to blame? Why are people making losses? The answer would be the behavior of people. There is another advancement which has come when it comes to fintech companies, which is a very catchy phrase again, robo-advisory. Now, I'll try to deconstruct what robo-advisory is doing right now. And once we actually start seeing the application of artificial intelligence in the products of fintech companies, how can robo-advisory take shape in future and why that is actually need of the hour also. So there is something which is known as the modern portfolio theory, and most of the algorithms are attuned to this theory. Now, MPT will try to take a survey of the investor, try to put it into a category of risk, be it a conservative portfolio, be it a moderate portfolio, or be it an aggressive portfolio, right? Then it'll try to select a bunch of securities, optimize the return, and map the securities into these categories, be it conservative, moderate, or aggressive. So this is what is happening right now. And now I'll try to explain where is the scope of improvement and how can AI come into picture and how can it improve our lives for the better in future. This is something which we should be hoping for, at least in the near future. Individualization of robo-advice. There are many companies which have robo-advisory service right now also, but the robo-advisory service is more generic. It is not attuned to your personal biases which you have against the market or your personal requirements. Now, I believe when AI comes into picture, we will have a scope to give personalized financial advice to individuals. What I've highlighted here is that there are two sets of portfolio management. One is what I told you initially, which is the MPT, modern portfolio theory, right? And right now that is the one which is used mostly, correct? But with the recent developments in AI-based machine learning, we see that there could be a shift to behavioral finance, and maybe we can incorporate strategies which not only optimize the returns of the securities in the portfolio, but which also optimize the behavioral response of people to the market reactions or to whatever is happening in the market. Right now, there is no way to optimize the behavior of the investors. I believe with AI, maybe we can do that. Possibilities of using AI in finance or portfolio management in future. AI-based systems might identify a complex but predictable relationship between financial leverage, interest rates, and operating margins. Even though we have a lot of data right now with us, we are not able to connect the dots because the problems are complex. There are no direct relationships between two parameters. Probably there are some indirect relationships which need some sort of a ML model to be analyzed. So I think if AI comes into picture, maybe we will be able to predict or forecast what will be happening in the future in a better way. We have the data in place, but we just need a better way to interpret that data. Second, right now what we have is that we have fund managers, investment managers who have their strategies to manage a portfolio. Like I explained earlier in the example, you have been assigned a conservative risk assessment or a moderate risk assessment or an aggressive risk assessment, but that portfolios are not managed by any tech. The portfolio management is still involves human element to it. Now in future, there might be a possibility that we can actually replicate a fund manager or an investment manager using AI. This is some of the data which I had just collated. I've given the source of the paper also. So if you see that the range, I would want to focus on the range of services. These are the existing products which are available under robo advisory in US, and US is a more mature market. So I've taken examples of US. Automatic rebalancing, tax loss harvesting, single stock diversification, fractional shares. Now what is happening is that whenever you create a portfolio, you need to do asset allocation. You have to decide that so much percentage of my corpus will go into equity, so much into debt, and probably 5-10% into gold or some other commodities. But equities will tend to wherever the market is right now, 5 years down the line the market will be higher than that, right? So let's say if you have allocated 50% to equities right now, 5 years down the line, automatically, because the market has performed well, that 50% might turn to 65% or 70% or whatever it is. The idea is that whenever you are doing asset allocation, you need to do rebalancing of the portfolios. Now, this is something wherein the tech can come in. It has already come in, and you can do now automatic rebalancing. The other part is tax loss harvesting. AI is already at I wouldn't say AI rather, this is some algorithm. So the tech is already at a level wherein we can assess the securities which are in loss. We can also assess that how much of these securities need to be sold off so that we get some tax advantages, or we can set it off elsewhere. These are the things which are automated, which could have been done manually also, but this is more accessible to public, and this also increases the speed. So right now, when you hear robo advisory, it is not advisory per se. They're using the term advisory per se. No doubt it adds a lot of value, but these are the sort of services which they provide to you. And this is what I wanted to highlight, that these kind of services is what you get in a robo advisory. Now, let me come to the topic wherein I try to highlight that what are the kind of things which even robo advisory services cannot provide, and where there is a scope of AI to come in and actually position itself so that it can take robo advisory to the next level. Number one is that the survey in which the way in which people are doing the survey, that needs to change. There is a good line. If you read the last line of the paragraph, this is one of the research papers. They mentioned that the AI looks like a Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz rather than R2D2 in Star Wars. So the name sounds very interesting and very intelligent right now, but it is not. The tech is not as matured as we would like it to be. There is one more interesting concept which came to my head. Should we call it artificial intelligence or should we call it artificial wisdom? Because I believe that we need wisdom to make the right decisions. Intelligence alone will not help. All of us know the facts and the figures, but we fail to act upon it. So I'm not sure if AI can solve the problem, but let me ask you these questions. Can AI convince you not to buy a second house for investment purpose? A lot of people make this mistake. Can AI convince you not to panic when there is a market crash? Can AI convince you not to chase extraordinary returns? Can AI convince you that inflation is a risk and volatility is a friend? Can AI convince you to prioritize your retirement over your kids' educational expense? I believe intelligence is something which can analyze and give you a report and process that data for you. But the key lies in wisdom. to act upon that data. Do we need AI to solve this problem, or do we need wisdom to solve this problem? Only time will tell. But this is the value proposition. If AI is able to successfully optimize the behavior of investors, if you see what kind of value proposition financial advisors like me have in your portfolio rebalancing is up to 0.4%, behavioral coaching is up to 1.5%, implementation of advice is up to 0.9%, tax advice is 0.2%. So total value added in the returns which you are getting over a long period of time under the mentorship or under the advice of any financial planner is 3%, out of which the major chunk goes in behavioral coaching. If AI is able to optimize the behavior of investors, then I think it stands a chance to revolutionize this space, but only time will tell that. Feel free to ask any questions. This is Parth Thakkar from Phoenix Insurance and Financial Services. You can take a screenshot of this slide. My mobile number and my email ID is mentioned. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. I go by the name of Parth Shastra, P_Artha_Shastra. So, yes, Ritesh.
I think that is a very interesting and very nice Instagram name, I should say.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I think Parth, I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Should
I just turn off the screen share?
Yes.
Just give me one second.
Yes. So if you guys have any questions, do comment in the comment box, in the chat box. So Parth, I have a couple of questions now that these so there is a question from Itika here. Okay, so we'll take up that first maybe, and I don't know if it is related to your topic or not, but
right.
How does AI improve fraud detection and security in financial transition?
I think all the legal professionals use this thing that if they don't want the other person to find the flaw or the counter argument, they try to bury the other person in data. Right? By the nature of the financial transactions, you have a lot of data when it comes to finding a fraud or in any of the transactions, right? It is very much possible that the humans take time to process through that data, or they tend to miss out on certain things. I believe AI can do a very good job in processing that data, finding out the anomalies, if any, in the patterns, and using that, I think you'll be able to detect the frauds in a better way.
So we have two more questions, Parth. We can quickly take them. One is, how does AI improve? How can AI help in behavioral counseling in future?
Right. So I think this is something which I stressed a lot during my presentation also on that AI should be able to optimize the investor behavior. Now, how do you actually do that? I believe that the surveys which we are doing right now are more basic. We are just telling that would you like to lose so much money in the next 3 years, or are you comfortable taking so much risk? I believe these are very primitive surveys in order to assess the risk taking capability of any investor. Maybe if we are using IoT or AI in future, this is how I would imagine the risk surveys can happen. Imagine you are sitting in front of your iPad or your laptop or something. You're wearing a smartwatch, right? The video camera is on. Video camera is tracking your facial expressions, your eye movements. Smartwatch is tracking your heart rate, your pulse, and everything. And then on the screen, you are actually being shown the headlines of market crash, or you are shown the actual movement of the stocks, right? And then you suddenly see a crash, or then you're given certain scenarios and you try to react to that. And that reaction is being captured and processed by some sort of a model on the basis of which your risk is being assessed. So I think that is something which we can do. Risk assessment is very important, and I think AI can surely help in that.
Okay, so I have a small question. So this is regarding risk appetite of the clients.
Right.
Okay, how do these robo advisors assess the risk appetite of the clients? I mean, how would, I mean, they can ask questions, etc., but I'm sure there are ways beyond that.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what robo advisors tend to do is that they'll have some questions like what is your age, right? When do you plan to retire? What is your past experience? Have you lost money in the market, or where do you try to invest more in equities or in debt? So they have such things, and they try to take assessment based on that. So this is what they are doing. Now, what I have in my mind, it's an imagination right now, but it's more sort of an immersive experience. Like I mentioned in my first answer, that you have this smartwatch, you have this table, laptop and tab, and on which you are shown things. Imagine you are also somehow using Midjourney or something, and you are also being shown how you will look in the future. They show you how you are aging. They probably try to show you a future family. They try to show you the kind of wealth you can create with a particular portfolio, right? They also uh, try to show you the risks which you are taking, but using a more immersive experience. So I believe this is what the robo advisors are doing right now, which is simply a MCQ question wherein you can just mark ABCD and get it done with. But I believe with AI we can track the actual behavior or the sentiments which the client is going through.
Yeah, yeah. Such an interesting concept, I feel, that, just asking the question, instead of just asking the question, you actually capture the way they are responding other than the question answer by probably their eye movements or their general facial expressions and other parameters, wherein then we can actually assess, how much risk appetite do they really have, instead of just relying on the question. A lot of times, people do answer questions in certain ways, but their real answers are quite different. Very
That's
interesting. Very interesting. Okay, great. So I think great, Parth. It was a great session. Very aptly explained, quite technically explained. Though I should point out, I'm sure a couple of people might need a bit of financial know-how, foundational know-how, to actually understand the real crux of what Parth was trying to say, and also it was very, very, very related to what tech that we do it. So this small session of Parth was more directed to people who are interested in finance, people who are techies who might be looking for a new product, and this might be their new product idea.
so I think my target audience was you, Ritesh.
Maybe, yeah. So that being said, I think, Parth, thank you so much for this amazing session that you took, and I would like to thank you so much in generally also helping me out in a lot of financial questions, as well as doing these small sessions with my team as well as me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. So Himanshu, let me introduce Himanshu again. Himanshu has done a master's in business management. He have been a driving force in tech industry in New Zealand. He operated a web agency in New Zealand and contributed to a successful agency called as Build Care, which is now operational in India. Also, Himanshu has been very tightly integrated part as well as partners of at Thumbstack, and he has great wisdom in project management. So his skill set more lies into project management, and himself being a techie, he would be walking us through those nitties and gritties of tech management. So now the stage is all yours, Himanshu. Go ahead.
Cool. Thank you so much. I would first like to just really quickly thank for this opportunity, because you don't very often get such platforms to talk about and share sort of your thoughts on things. So I'll share my screen in a second. I quickly want to introduce what I'm going to talk about. I'll actually share my screen already. It doesn't matter. Cool. So what we are going to talk about today is artificial intelligence in project management, right? And we're going to especially take slight focus on predictive analytics. Now, I'll quickly walk you through what we are going to do today, because it's not just me talking about what AI can do for project management. I'm going to take you guys through a small journey of how project management has been in its traditional sense, tools of the past, we can call it. So tools that have already existed, then AI coming into the picture, AI capabilities, and then following down to the predictive analytics side of things. So like to start, project management in its traditional sense, we can say since the dawn of time, or since at least we have started working in teams, project managers have existed, and they've existed to do what? Manage. But while these project managers are here managing projects, they've been wrestling with two things, which is time and money. And by what I mean by that is project managers are trying to achieve budgets, hit deadlines, and that's their constant battle, that they either miss one, either miss both of them. And also modern day project management, these project managers are juggling multiple clients, multiple projects, multiple teams. So it's becoming more and more difficult. I'd like to take you guys through a fact, and which states nearly half of all the projects happening everywhere, different industries, everything, run late, and almost as many go over budget. So this makes us think if these project managers need more coffee or a magic wand, right? And in my opinion, I think it's more of the magic wand, because I'm sure they're having a lot of coffee already. So this fact tells us that there more than half the projects are losing, the project managers are losing on both fronts, which is time and money. So it's interesting, and it's interesting to find out why is this happening, right? Why are project managers failing? So we can say unclear objectives, scope creeps, communication breakdowns, resource mismanagement, blah, blah, blah. We can go through so many different things that tend to state that this is why a project fails. But in my opinion, a seasoned project manager might have already seen these pitfalls in the past and knows their way to navigate around them. They'll plan, they'll strategize, even pull a few all-nighters if they have to. But still, the project goes off the rail. So it makes us think, right, that what is the real reason? So here's the crux of it. At the end of the day, a project manager is a human. No matter how skilled or how experienced you are, you cannot foresee everything. We miss the tiny details, the small prints, the unexpected curveballs. And also, as the saying goes, the devil's in the details. And sometimes, while managing projects, these tiny details can be devilishly tricky. And you just lose your handle on the finances and this and that. But since our existence, whenever there has been a problem, we've come up with solutions, right? So what was our first solution? We introduced tools to manage these projects. So project management tools came into existence. They've existed for a very long time. So what did these tools do? So they came along and they promised to be that magic wand that we were looking for. The magic that we needed to make these projects fall under budget, hit deadlines. And tools like, we can name a few, like Trello came along, Asana came along, and these were like the early smartphones. They were phones, but not so smart. What I mean by that is these tools were definitely cool. They were helpful. But the reason I'm saying they were not really smart is because what they did for us is merely replaced spreadsheets. Because obviously project managers were smart enough to use something to keep a track of things, make a list of tasks and charts to plan things out and all of that. So what these tools did for us is basically made those into features, into a more of a software-like feel, and gave you those additional features where you can tick things off and assign things to people and manage things a bit more easily. So I'm not saying that they did not help. They helped, but they added incremental value. They did not add revolutionary value, which is what we were looking for, because projects were still failing. There are all these tools out there, but the fact of that 50% projects are running late and as many are going over budget hasn't changed. So what is the real magic that we might need, or what can we do? So not few years later, AI has existed for a long time, but a few years ago, entered AI. Just last year, this whole generative AI, large language models started coming into picture. Everybody was super excited with all these innovations like ChatGPT. They can talk to a chatbot, get questions answered, content written, mid-journey to create images, and I'm guessing 500,000 other AI-powered applications or existing applications that turned into added AI capabilities, right? Now, obviously, after AI came along, it was inevitable that AI would make a mark in project management. And finally, I would say, in my opinion, that we started seeing some light, some real value add that could come into AI, come into project management via AI. So some new tools emerged that were that with AI capabilities to help project management. Existing big project management tools started including AI capabilities, and it started feeling like that magic wand has arrived. So we can talk about a few examples. Like, for example, Monday.com is a very famous project management tool that started using AI to automate mundane tasks. ClickUp is a AI tool that is using ClickUp is a project management tool that is using AI to predict task completions. Now this gives us a hint of the predictive analytics that we'll be talking about next. Trello integrated AI to automate workflows, Asana to prioritize tasks, Rike to offer workload insights, again giving us a slight hint of predictive analytics. But what do we need out of this AI to solve the real problem that we've been talking about? The real problem, which is not having those half 50% of the projects go over budget and everything. So the real magic wand could be, or possibly would be, predictive analytics. Now, I'll paint a picture for you guys. Imagine, as a project manager, you draw a straight line and then you plan to walk on it from start to the end. But as you're about to take your first step, that straight line turns into a tightrope, suspends high up in the air with gusty winds and wobbles coming all towards you. That, for you, is project management. It is all about constantly evolving, full of surprises, demanding adaptability, right? So how could something like predictive analytics help? Now, again, making it simple, imagine you're in that situation, standing up high in the air, and in this gusty winds, you have to walk through that tightrope. There is somebody, a trusty sidekick right there with you, who's whispering in your ear when the next gust of the wind is going to be, or when the upcoming wobble is going to come. And this is predictive analytics. This is what could help you walk that tightrope with a bit more confidence. So let's dig a slightly deeper into what exactly predictive analytics could do in project management. What would be the value add? Now, just to name a few points, it'll do a lot more than this, I'm sure. But just to name a few points, let's talk risk prediction. Project managers have always been doing risk assessment and analyzing what risks could come, and this is all coming from historical data and all of that. And then they make a risk mitigation plan, and then they start the project. But they're not prepared for what's happening. They're not analyzing the data within the project. Predictive analytics can use historical data and also current projects data to predict a potential risk and tell the project manager at an earlier stage that this risk could arise and you need to take some preventive measures, which can be anything, allocating more resources and all of that. Deadline forecasting, a very big one, which a lot of project managers seem to think they make a plan and they know the start date is this and the end date is this, but that's never really the case, because even the smallest thing can happen, which is somebody can fall sick, right? So predictive analytics can highlight tasks or phases that are likely to miss their deadlines, because these smaller tasks and phases that miss deadlines by one or two days actually make the snowball effect at the end for you, right? So predictive analytics will give you those insights and help you plan better and reallocate your resources or adjust your timelines beforehand, rather than waiting till the end and saying, oh, cool, we've got one more month to go, which quite often happens. Another one is budget monitoring. It can keep a very close eye on small expenses every minute you're spending. And when I say minute, it's because time is equal to money. How much of a time you're spending is the amount of money you're spending. So every minute you're spending is being calculated there, is being accounted for there, and the AI is looking out for you and ensuring there are no nasty financial blowouts at the end, because it can give you insights and tell you beforehand to plan things better. And even while the project is going, it can give you better insights to change things according to that. And a very important one could be efficiency analysis. That is very dependent on humans at the moment. And again, as we are still humans, as I said, it's no, we are not going to know everything. So over time, AI can learn from your project's progress, understanding the nuances of the team dynamics, how, for example, how much time a task is taking from going from one team member to another, like even the smaller things, the resource allocation, any external factors, and will make suggestions to improve efficiency, ensure smoother project executions. So these are few things that predictive analytics could do for us in project management. Now, there's a quote that I like to think I've written, but there's a lot of times I think I've written something, but it's just in my subconscious. I read it somewhere, so that's why I'm not quoting it to somebody or even myself. But predictive analytics is like a magical crystal ball, enabling project managers to foresee risks, optimize resources, and steer the projects to success. Because what happens very often is, as I said previously, and I want to reiterate on that, that you make a plan and you think that once you've planned it, you just got to follow the plan, but that's not it. It's all about the adaptability. It's all about the changes that are going to come towards you. And just to close things off, I would like to say the future of project management with AI, and especially predictive analytics, could end up being the dynamic duo that we need, and could actually end up being that magic wand that we've always needed as project managers and as people who are executing projects towards success, to help us be our strategy partners and drive us to that success. And by that, I would like to say, I was a very long talk and I've started feeling thirsty now. But any questions that can come my way, I'm more than happy to take them now.
Great talk, Himanshu. Was quite crisp and quite fast, I should say. So to the audience, guys, do you have any questions? Please do comment down. So I think Itika has a question. I'll read out the question for you, Himanshu. How reliable is predictive analytics? Can we solely depend on it for a project management decision? Very, very interesting question. Himanshu, you want to take it on?
Yes, absolutely. So actually, it is a very, very interesting question. I love it. So yes and no, but I'd like to answer the question a bit more properly. Predictive analytics will very likely be based on data. And past data would be the real data it will be using. So past data, historical data, patterns. So it is going to be a very powerful tool. It will provide a lot of valuable insights as well, but it is very essential, and it always will be very essential to use that in conjunction with human judgment, because it's going to be a guide, not a gospel. So we need to be sure that we know that we are not treating whatever predictive analytics tells us as the Bible. It's more about us using our insights along with the data that we are getting from AI and make a decision based on that. So I hope that answers the question. I think there's another.
All right, we have another question, Himanshu. This question is, with the rise of AI in project management, do you think the role of human project managers will diminish? So.
Okay, I like to answer this question by saying the simple answer is no. And I'd like to answer just not in the sense of a project manager, but AI is not really going to replace humans. And if people think that, that's very wrong, in my very honest opinion. And in terms of project management, if we talk about will it replace the role of human project managers? No, it cannot, because AI is going to be a tool. It's an assistant. The name, all these names, also all the apps that are coming out, AI assistant, and the word tells us that it's an assistant. It's going to give us data. It's going to make our computation faster. It's going to look at small details that we used to miss as humans and help us make informed decisions. But it's never going to replace what a human can do. The strategic decision making that comes from a human's brain, building relationships, understanding the team dynamics, and all of that is always going to remain irreplaceable. And that applies not just to project management, to any field where obviously if there's a person sitting in front of a computer doing a task which can be done by AI now, yes, that job will get replaced. but it does not replace human beings or what humans add. Because there's another anecdotally, when this whole chat GPT thing was happening and I was still running the agency in New Zealand, the people who were talking to me saying, oh, we don't need content writers anymore, right? Because chat GPT is going to write the content now. And my only answer to that used to be that, yes, it will write the content, but the content writer is not there for writing the content. They're there for curating the content, to tell you if the content is correct or not, if it does what it needs to do or not. Because writing content, there were generative apps in the past as well that wrote content, maybe not AI driven, but still they were using some data and algorithms to write content for you. So the content writing part wasn't going to replace content writers. So that's my take on replacing humans and to answer that question precisely.
Yeah. We'll take up one more question, Himanshu. How good is predictive analysis today? Asked by Parth.
Okay, thanks for the question, Parth. So predictive analytics today is, I think I would like to, in my opinion, I would like to say it's slightly over the early stages, because apps have already started using it. Apps have already started integrating those aspects. Like even in my examples, if you can see, Rike has done an integration where it is providing you workload insights. So that is a predictive analytics, like a hint of predictive analytics. Asana has introduced it for prioritizing of tasks based on deadlines and how much time a similar task took in the past and things like that. So those are hints of predictive analytics. The things that we talked about today and the benefits that I was trying to show today, we are not there yet. There are other apps like Tableau, and I think there's one called Alteryx as well. These guys are already, because these are data sort of analyzing tools already, and they're using AI to feed data from project management tools and spin out those things that we need on the other end for predictive analytics and those insights. So it is above the early stages. We are still in the development phases. We still cannot say that we have achieved what I was just saying. What I was saying is, as I said, could be or would be the magic wand, and which most likely it will be by the pace at what we have seen ChatGPT has done, or not ChatGPT, but GPT actually, the algorithms, the pace they've grown or where they've got to from even the earlier models. It's bound to happen, but currently we're in slightly above the early stages.
All right. I think we are. There is one more question. Do you want to take it?
Sure, why not? If you have the time, I have the answer.
So we have like 2 minutes. Let's take on this question. How do traditional project management tools differ from the AI-powered ones in terms of efficiency? So efficiency is the question here.
Okay, so as I said, I mean, it's a huge difference from traditional project management tools to these AI-powered tools, because the traditional project management tools, as I said, even while my presentation, that they've given us an incremental value, not a revolutionary value. Adding AI to these tools has given us a hint of that revolution, because it's giving us insights. It's giving us some strategic points or decisions or whatever we want to call it. It's not just helping us do what we were doing in spreadsheets before. So that's how we can say it's different from traditional project management tools as compared to the ones that have AI in it.
All right. So I think great, Himanshu. It was great session. I feel I'm sure everybody might have got a bit of glimpse of what all things can we do in project management, and how AI is bringing the change in the project management. And definitely the project managers are not going to get replaced by AI, but the project managers who are not using AI are definitely going to be replaced. Now quote me on that.
That's the way to put it.
Okay. That being said, I think we are towards the end of the session, and it's only me who is remaining for the session. And that's why let me take up the space. Hi guys, this is Ritesh Kedar. Let me just put a spotlight on myself. Team, can you just put up the spotlight on myself, please? So this is going to be just a conversational session. And I would want you guys to put in your name in the chat box, as well as along with your area of profession. So I would want each one of you just name area of profession. For example, Ritesh Kedar, tech entrepreneur. So I would want that. The reason I'm asking this question to you guys is because I've been hearing a lot about, oh, AI is going to replace. People are quite always complaining about, oh, is it going to replace us? Are the content writers are going to be replaced? Are project managers going to be replaced? Are accountants going to be replaced? And everything around it. So I just want to understand what all things our audiences are into. I would want Kajal, I would want Itika, I would want Jyoti, Prateek, Shubham, Priyanka, Suraj, Yogita. All of you guys to put in into the chat box your name as well as your. We have got couple of questions. Couple of responses. So Parth is in personal finance profession. We know that. Now, Prateek Agarwal is aspiring digital marketer. Welcome, Prateek. We have Etika Agarwal, who is into social media marketing. Priyanka is into project management. Subraj is into front-end development. Shubham is into business development. Suraj Gupta is into engineering, software engineering. Jyoti is into quality assurance. So most of us are into tech is what I suppose. Hence, I will craft the whole session around tech. So the first thing I want to start the session from the question that somebody asked is, in the Himanshu session, is the AI going to replace people? The answer is always going to be no. Why? Because if you remember, I want to answer this with an example. This example is from long back when electricity was invented. You might have heard about these case studies. Then when it was invented, before the invention, there was a job called as street lighter or something along those lines. And what this job was about is, there used to be a role that is defined, and there used to be street lamps which were gas powered, which is like petrol powered or kerosene powered like this. And this guy used to have a staircase, and not staircase, only stairs. And he used to go to these lamps with a lighter, used to climb on each lamp and used to lit the street lamps in the evening. And again in the morning, he used to go climb onto these street lamps and, extinguish them. So this was the job role which was allocated to that time was it was kind of a very much watchman styled role. So now when electricity came on, all these street lamps were all operational on just by a click of a button. And the role of the street lighter was completely gone. But do you think that the street lighters got completely out of jobs? The answer is no. The street lighters learned something else. They started learning how to use electricity. Eventually, they started, learning to operate all these buttons and electric powered street lamps and things around it. So the point here is, in any point of time, whenever a new technology comes in, the people don't go out of the jobs. They learn things. They learn how to use this new technology, and then they start getting into the new role. One of such roles that I have been pondering into is the AI prompt writer. Is a new role that I have came across. Basically, a prompt writer is a guy who is great at talking with AI. So, say for example, people gave the example of ChatGPT. So when you ask, generally people, what they do is when they type into ChatGPT, they just write an email about asking a follow-up about a project, and the AI gives the answer to it. Now the prompt writers, if you go on YouTube and write, AI or ChatGPT prompt writers, you will get to know actually there is a very structured way to ask questions to AI. A very engineered way of asking questions to AI. That is why it is called as prompt engineering. So eventually, all these roles that you think that you are very worried of, project managers, content writers, digital marketer, XYZ, all these people would have to learn this small skill called as prompt engineering, a basic skill called as prompt engineering. And that is what today's small little talk of mine will revolve around. It is about empowering businesses using tech, speeding up the businesses using tech and AI. And when I say businesses, I mean all the departments of the businesses. It includes execution, it includes management, it includes digital marketing, social media, everything. So now let's start off with I've jotted down a couple of points. Okay, so I would want all of you guys to put in your thoughts on what is one part of your day-to-day life which is being powered by AI. One part of your life being powered by AI. I want you to write down in the chat box. Let's just observe who all are well versed with how much we are surrounded by AI. Let's see. I would ask everyone: Parth, Himanshu, Etika, Jyoti, Subrajit, Shubham, Suraj, Yogita, each one of you, Priyanka. So Pratik has written content writing, Etika for content. Parth Thakkar has written Google search, e-commerce, and OTT recommendation. If you have observed around you, most of your world already has very advanced AI already involved. Be it Google search recommendations, be it if you're using iPhone Siri, if you're using Android, maybe Google Now. If you are using Facebook, it's there. If you're using Instagram, which is the most popular platform now, it's there. All these platforms are using AI, which gives us a glimpse of all these big players are already using AI. You know, the big players are already using the AI. Now let's take a step back and understand, if the big players are using AI, is there any scope of using AI for the small players as well? Like you and me, we all are small players, but can we use AI in our day-to-day small little lives to speed up our own deliveries in our day-to-day tasks? Maybe if somebody is an entrepreneur in delivering their projects, can we use AI? How many of you guys think that we can use AI in our day-to-day life? Please comment on I can think, or maybe ICT would do. So I would go ahead with step-by-step use cases on which you can probably think of how can you use AI to speed up your day-to-day lives. Now let's take an example, which is a very burning thing, which is finances. Okay. Now Parth spoke a lot about finances, and Parth is certified financial planner, as well as Himanshu spoke about project management. And he also spoke about how AI is helping in project management. Let's take an example of our personal life, our day-to-day finances. How many of you guys think that you get salary or you get a project at the start of the month, or at the mid of the month, and then automatically all of your finances just starts going down the drain in the next 1 week or 2 weeks, and then at the end of the week you are actually left with almost nothing? Do you guys think this happens with you? Just write down yes, right? So this keeps on happening with us. Now, the first step into doing any improvement in our life is observing, analyzing, observing, analyzing. When you observe and analyze, that's wherein you will be able to figure out, oh, is there a pattern? Do I need to change something? Do I need to work on something that is quite habitual, quite behavioral in my own personality? That's wherein AI comes into the picture. There are lots of AI which exists right now. We can just do a pattern analysis for you. What you can do is just take down 4 years of your probably bank statements, just export it into an Excel, and just put up Microsoft BI on it, or any other AI tool. I don't want to promote any specific AI tool, but if you go online and just search for any financial AI tool or financial analysis tool, or maybe Excel sheet analysis tool, which is quite using AI, you will get plenty of them. Just put this data onto this tool. You'll very easily get, even if it is not an AI powered tool, it is just a blunt, plain analysis tool, you'll get lot of graphs built on your own financial statements, which is your bank statements. Once you have the bank statements, you'll understand, oh, where am I spending too much? Oh, where all are my peaks? When I'm getting the salary, which are the parts wherein I am losing my most of the salary? Have I spent too much on travel? Have I spent too much on shopping? Oh, are the entries more on Myntra, Flipkart, Amazon? Are the entries more onto, say, spending on Zomato? you will automatically understand your own behaviors, which are the first step into understanding the patterns that you have. Once you have the pattern recognition, I mean, you recognize the patterns, the second step is, oh, these are my patterns and I will have to fight with my patterns. Very straightforward. Let's change that perspective from finances. Let's take it into your own business. Say, for example, you are running a small company. Maybe we have got somebody who is into digital marketing. I think his name is Pratik Agarwal, is into aspiring digital marketer. We have another person who is into social media marketing, and so on and so forth. Let's take an example of, you have started running a small agency wherein you are getting freelancing projects, and you have been doing it for a year or maybe 2 years. How about asking a fellow friend of yours who have been running the digital marketing agencies for 5 years, and just asking for a bit of, if he's your friend, asking for conversions data. For example, when have he got the most projects in a month-wise manner? So for example, once you get that data, maybe 3 year or 4 years data, you put that into, again, these tools, you will be able to very easily understand, oh, in May to July, the peaks are very high. This guy is getting a lot of projects. This guy is not getting a lot of projects from January to, say, for example, March, because the peaks are quite low. Oh, this guy is spending a lot on, say, for example, digital marketing, which is towards April. And you'll see these patterns once you start analyzing the data using all these machine learning tools or AI tools, or in general, analysis tools. What do you understand by this? Oh, which means the market, the way you see the market is not how the market is. The market is quite seasonal. We know, right? Weddings and all these, wedding photography and all these are seasonal things. The same way, you might be able to see the digital marketing, or maybe software development, or maybe freelancing, website development, branding. All these agencies are also seasonal. You might see, oh, there is a pattern. Then you will very easily be able to allocate your efforts, your marketing efforts, your skills improvement efforts, your expectations very much around these peaks. That is when you'll start using AI in your day-to-day life. Let's take an example of probably generating an idea which is powered by AI. Now, you might have used these brands like No Broker and housing.com. So what do you do there? You just go in, you have a filter, you just search for, I live in this place, and my budget is this, I need 1 BHK, 2 BHK, etc., etc. How about you taking this a bit step ahead by using AI? How about just asking the user, what are you into? Maybe asking him, what is your profession? What is your lifestyle? Oh, do you like shopping at brands like Zara and H&M? Do you like, eating out at probably maybe Pizza Hut or maybe Domino's? How many times do you eat outside? And based on these behavioral as well as personalized questions, now you might understand, okay, this guy might be looking for a property which is near to all these eateries, or which is near to, these areas and that areas. And then you might craft a small platform which only focuses on the customer's preferences, and then gives them the right listings of all these properties. I mean, why not? There does not exist a platform like this. At least I don't know a platform which exists like that. What about creating an app which is into accounts? So we have somebody who is into accounts. We have Parth also is into accounts. How about just creating an app which only analyzes your invoices, and instead of somebody a proper accounting guy who has employed a data entry person who is just typing in data from the invoices that they are getting and putting that data into spreadsheets or putting into Tally and all that. How about I just have a small integration with Amazon's API. Amazon is having a Textract API which analyzes invoices. How about I just employ a small software a development firm and invest a very small little amount and integrate my Tally with Amazon Textract API, wherein I can just give a screenshot of my paper invoice. It automatically analyzes the invoice, gets the data ready for auditing, and the accountant or the data entry guy, whoever is doing this job, is only auditing the data instead of going through the whole painful process of data entry. This might reduce the work of 4 days or 40 days, probably by just an hour or so. So this whole talk that I wanted to have was only centric around, giving you that food for thought. I mean, you can't have a very detailed discussion in 10 to 15 minutes. You need to have a small food for thought. Oh, what is the power of AI? What is the power of technology? How can I leverage the technology to just do my day-to-day tasks? How about somebody is going to get married soon? We have somebody who is going to get married soon, and he might be smiling right now. Yes, you can see him. He's smiling right now. So how about him just using AI, giving his preferences that, oh, I am this kind of guy. My partner is this kind of girl, and we both like these things. Maybe these foods to it, these kind of food to eat. Maybe we like to travel and live in quite luxury hotels, or maybe I just like to backpack. We like to go on a lot of road trips, and tell the AI to generate a proper itinerary for you. There are a lot of people who are doing it. Why not us? So this small little session only focuses on giving you that food for thought, giving you that small curiousness in you. Oh, what all things can I do with AI? And if you want to know how can you use the AI in detail, you'll be able to find a small session on ChatGPT and OpenAI on our YouTube channel. I have taken that session personally for a couple of my friends, and I have explained how can you use the ChatGPT, which is the most popular AI as of now, and how can you use the conversational part of it to bring the best out of ChatGPT? How can you become the prompt engineer, small little prompt engineer who can use ChatGPT at its full? So that being me, guys, I wanted this session to be very short and sweet, although I have taken quite a long time to explain. But the outcome of the whole summit that we were planning to was just to bring the small little question in your brain: can we use tech? Can we use technology to make our lives better? So that is it, guys. I would be open to take any questions if you have any. Thank you so much for being so patient and listening to me. Okay, Ithika has asked, can an AI assist in enhancing personal fitness and wellness? Second is, how can you explain the impact of AI on job roles and employment in future? Yes, the first question, yes, there are plenty of people who are using AI for their personal fitness and wellness, but this is a very two-step approach. So if you just need a general purpose tips for your fitness as well as wellness, which wellness is quite a big umbrella. It includes your emotional wellness, mental wellness, physical wellness, etc., etc. But yes, you can use AI. You can strike a conversation with the AI. You can just type in AI, pretend that you are an expert fitness trainer, and you can start the conversation with an AI, and it will take you probably in the very soft fitness approach. You can get some small little answers to your questions. For example, how should I schedule my exercise training? What should I eat if my weight is my height is this much, and my age is this much, and my goals are to reach this. But I think you will have to hire a professional fitness expert if you have serious goals. So for example, if you want to reduce your weight to considerable amount, or if you want to gain muscles to considerable amount, then definitely you need to hire a very professional there. But if your goals are quite soft and the seriousness is quite medium, then you can definitely take use of help of AI. Second is, can you explain the impact of AI in job roles and employment in the future? Yes, as I gave you the example, the people who will learn to use AI, who will learn to use, the thing is not about getting the answers. The thing is about, can you ask the right question? if you are able to ask the right question, then you will automatically get into the cream layer of your profession, be it digital marketing, be it programming, be it whatever. Ask the right questions is the next skill set. So that is my take on to the second question. The third question is, there are a lot of questions, I feel. How affordable is AI tech? AI tech is quite a generalized question. In general, it depends on the use case that you're trying to achieve using AI. There are tools, most of the tools are ready-made available, and there are a lot of tools that can be integrated into anything that you are using right now. For example, if you're using Zoho, or you are using any project management tools, you can use Zapier and integrate any AI tool into your current system that you're using. So yes, it's very, very affordable. You can just do it ad hoc. One more question I want to take up. Can you provide examples of successful implementation of AI in Indian businesses? Successful implementation of AI in businesses. There are a lot of businesses who are implementing AI, especially new startups. All the new startups have started because they have understood that this is the edge that they can get over all the big players. Zomato has started using it. As you see that the food is being prepared and the probability of them coming to your place, the whole timing and the whole thing of predicting when the food will arrive to your home is all machine learned. They are no more, and also they are using some third party APIs, I feel, in that. That being said, guys, we have a lot of questions, but we can't take all of them. I want a small poll from you guys. Do you feel that the whole summit that we did was useful to you? If you feel it was useful, just type in yes. If you feel it was not useful, just type in no. I'm looking for all the comments. Yes, Pratik says yes. Thank you so much, Pratik. Priyanka, yes. Parth, yes. Subrachit, yes. A lot of yeses here. And that brings to the end of our podcast. Thank you so much, guys, for being here, for listening to each of our speakers, and also for being quite an engaging audience, I should feel, because everybody was asking so many questions and our speakers were also replying to each of these questions. And this whole thing is recorded, and you will soon see a link to this recording so as to, you can access this later, as well as share it with your friends if you think that they might find a value in the whole session. That is it, guys. You guys can unmute yourself and say thank you so much if you feel that it was a great session.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very good session.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for
much,
the valuable
sir.
insights.
Thank you so much to our coordinating and technical team who have been making this thing happen. We are just here as a speaker. We just arrived a couple of hours before, and they have been doing it for days with all the, with all these banners and all that are going on everywhere. So thank you so much, team, and it has been wonderful having you guys. I'm really having so much of gratitude for everyone who is here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ritesh, for having us all.
Thank you, everybody. It's been a great session, and happy Independence Day to everyone again.
Yes, happy Independence Day, guys.